Welcome to another electronic video. Two videos in one day. I want to give you a real quick update on the HP 400H. I tested most all the tubes. All the 6 CB6s were excellent. They tested excellent. Every tube in this so far that I've tested, I have not tested this or this yet, are HP original tubes. I swapped out two 6 CB6s right here, but I found a 6U8 which had a very weak, one section was very weak, the other side was good. So I dug out, I found 3 6U8s in my stash, and every one of them was bad. These are tubes that I got from Jewett City. These are not from anyone else. One of them had high grid leakage, but otherwise tested good. And the 12B4, which is here, shows short. So V7 is a 12B4A. It shows short. I do not have that. I did not test the 6AX5 yet. It's a rectifier tube, but I will test it. And the 6U8, I looked all through my inventory. I don't have any. So I'll have to purchase some tubes. But this is going to wait. I got other things that are more important right now. I was going to make an update on the microphonic situation by switching these tubes, but we're not going to do that. Now I used to have a tube substitution book. I could dig it out and dig out the tube manual. I have a 6T8, and I don't know if that would substitute for a 6U8. But they're better off to have the right tubes, especially in a piece of equipment like this. So what I got to do yet, this is a 6CB6, this is a 6CB6, and this is a 6CB6, and another one up here. So there's 4 of them, but all 4 test very good. And, yeah, 6CB6, 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 5 of them. Okay, so we got 5 6CB6s in here, and they all test good. And I got to test the 5651, I think that is. Been suggested that by Ron C, I believe, that I should change this. This is not a Bumblebee cap. It's in there rigid, so I don't want to upset it. This is just like these type of caps here. Okay? The band you see right there is the outside foil. Well, there it is right there. It is not a Bumblebee. If it was, it would be out of here right now. We also got a cap over here, a molded one. I don't know if it's paper. I don't know what the function is. The schematic on this is just about impossible to read. What happens is, at least for me, I got the manual on this PDF file, and it covers 3 or 4 models of this here HP. this happens to be the 400H. There is no way that I can copy a single page of a PDF file. It does not work. If you right click on it, you can save as, but it'll save the entire PDF file. So what I have to do is to, let's say I want the schematic. What I have to do is to stop at that page, decrease the size of the schematic so it covers the whole page shows the whole schematic on the screen. Then do a print screen. There's a button on the keyboard. You have to print screen. Then bring up my photo program InfinView, okay, and paste it, and then cut out the schematic, cut selection, and then repaste it on InfinView again. By the time you blow that up so you can read it, it is virtually impossible to read. So if I had a good schematic, yes, I could probably find out what each one of these do. But I don't need to do that because I'm not going to get into servicing this. If I had to replace anything, I replace as they show here. Like, in other words, if there's a 001, I replace it with a 001. If there's a 0.05, I replace it with a 0.05 or 047. So, but we're not doing that in this case. We're right now worrying about tubes. So I just wanted to throw this together. It's nothing important. I just want you to know that this is on hold right now, simply because I have to go out and get a couple of tubes. So I don't need any 6 CB6s. As surprising as it is, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 CB6s all test good. On my B&K 606, they are 110%. The meter goes up to 120%. They're right up there, no grid leakage. However, the 6U8 showed good on one side, and the other half showed questionable. Then the needles just started dropping. The 12B4A showed shorts in a couple of positions of this switch. Now, there could be a capacitor right here. This goes across the meter. This is an electrolytic, and it looks like an older type. I may replace that, but I'm not going to do anything on this now. You can see these capacitors here. These look like the modern type of capacitors, similar to what you can buy today, similar to the ones I can get from Sal's Capacitor Corner. They look just like that. Let me show you. Here are some 1 microfarad that I got from Sal's. They're made the same way. See that? So I don't think this was added, because you got almost the same capacitors up here. Not quite. But it kind of makes you wonder, This is probably the same type of capacitor as I got in my hand right here. So the capacitors in this unit, except for this one here, do not have to be changed. At this time, the filters don't have to be changed. It's not a unit that I'm going to be using all the time. But we're going to have to wait on these 2 tubes, and I have to test this. I am almost sure that I do not have a 6AX5. I'm almost certain I do not have one. But I want to test that. And if it's possible to test the voltage regulator tube, it's a neon type of voltage regulator tube. That's what Jim Asbell said, so that's the type of tube it is. I'm going to test these two here off camera. I'm in no hurry right now because things are at a standstill with this instrument until I can locate a couple of tubes. Yeah, so it's very interesting that the caps that they use in this, from what I can see, this goes across the meter as well as this electrolytic here. There's some writing on that. It looks like it might be a 20 microfarad up in there. I don't have the JVC. I'm using the Kodak PlayTouch here, so it may or may not be totally in focus. But it is very interesting that the caps are in here. They're very unlikely to be bad. So I just wanted to go over this one more time here. I don't want to have to keep going over the same thing all the time. I'm sure you're probably getting bored with this. Some of you may be. So in time I'll probably order the tubes from findatube.com when I can see myself clear to do that. I'm going to clean off this tube. I'm wondering if this is a not sure how that comes off there. Not sure how that. It's a hold down clamp. Got to reach down in the hole here. There it goes. Okay. I'm just curious to see if that's a. It's also an HP tube. And I'll be testing that. It's pretty neat the way they have this thing. It's on a little swivel like with a rivet in the chassis. Alright, so I want to test that. It's a 6AX5. And this one, and then that should do it. One thing I got to do is I got to replace this cord on this B&K 606. See how it curls around on, it's a relatively thin power cord, but it's twisting. It always did, but it's getting worse. It just knots itself up. It's all like twisted, like a twisted pear. I'm sure it wasn't that way originally. It was probably like this at the plug end. The cord has to be small in order to be wound up and left on here. You can't have a big bulky cord on here. You won't be able to get the cover closed. And you could run the risk of cracking the meter face if the plug should move and get down here when you close the cover. But anyways, I'm going to test that tube. I'll give you the results of these two tubes when I get them tested. Every one of these tubes that are in this unit, with the exception of those two tubes that I said were bad, reads over 100%. 100% right on the money on this tube, on one section. 6AX5, we'll go to the next section. Alright, next section of tube now. Same thing. So this tube is good, there's no shorts. 6AX5, I cleaned it up a little bit of Windex on the rag. The number's down here. The name rather is down here. So what's left now is this voltage regulator tube right here. Well, unfortunately, there is no 5651 listed in my book for the B&K 606 tube tester. So it's possible that tube may not be able to be tested. So the fact that it glows, the only probably real way to find out is to see what the regulated voltage is. If I remember what Jim said, I think it's 83 volts or 85 volts regulated. So if I'm getting the 83 or 85 volts out, that means that tube is working. So we can't test that, little guy. Sorry. Alright, I hope that's in focus. I don't get a good focus as I do with my JVC. This is the original 6U8. I'm going to test it again. As I recall, yes, one section is real weak. So we'll put it in the tester right now. Okay, we're testing the first section of the 6U8 now. We've already tested for shorts, so we don't need to do that. There is no shorts in it. The shorts were in my ones I had in my stash, but this didn't have shorts. So no grid emission and over 100% on half of it. So now we go into the second half, and I have to use my magnifier. So let me stop this so I can get the settings. This tube is no good. This is one I have in my stash. Emission's very good, right? Well, look at the grid emission. Now when I tested those 5, 6 CB6s, I didn't get any grid emission on any of them, and nor did I get any shorts. So this tube here is not good. Let's go to 2, because that's the first test. Very good. No grid emission there. So we've got grid emission on the tube that I got out of my stash, which was came in a box of tubes that I got at Jewett City Flea Market quite a while ago. But it's better than the one that's in there. I guess I can stick it in, but it's got grid emission on the other side. Back to 9 again. Yeah, see? So, and no shorts. However, we do have shorts in the 12B4A. So I would feel better getting 2 new tubes for this in the future. So that's it. Figured I'd make this video and give you a little update on this. So that's a future thing. It's on the back burner right now. And I don't think I'd really want to put in a high grid leakage 6U8 in there. Even though the emission is good and there is no shorts, I will rotate this here for shorts. No shorts, just high grid emission, which is changeable. Anything out of that green on the lower scale is bad. Okay, that's it, folks.